Version 7.1.0 of BrightXpress Mobility Suite has been released, and this video will take you through the changes and updates that have been introduced by this version. So here I have BrightBuilder running, and I'll just jump on the About box and we can see that we're running BrightBuilder 7.10 here. And if we go to the Bright Software User Manual, which I've already got open here, and we've got the What's New section in the index. You can click through, get to the What's New section in the user manual, and it will clearly show you. So this video will just be quickly taking you through each of these points one by one to demonstrate each of these changes and updates. So the first change we have is we have a new description attribute which now appears on the query, sync rule, form and report. So now I've got my project, and now if I just add a form to that project and jump on the properties of that form, the description is the new attribute here, which I can say this is my first form as a brief description, and then that will be used in the tooltip when I hover on the form from now on. So we can easily get descriptions of all of the things when I'm just browsing. I can hover my mouse over the form or table, query, sync rule, report, all those different things, and it can tell me briefly what that particular object is. So back to the manual. The next change is a really nice one. We've now added the Show in Projects action to all of the editor windows. Now what this does is when you've got an editor window like this, like Form 1, I'm editing Form 1, maybe I've got this closed up or I can't see what that is, I can very quickly and easily right click on the content on the tab, and that will bring our projects tree, the item. So this could be a form editor, a table editor, any query, sync rule, report that you're working on, and also in the BEP file as well. All those different things in there can be quickly found in the projects tree now. The next new feature is we now have the Create Database Tables feature on the project context menu item. So what that means is in BrightBuilder, if I've got a brand new table, say this is my table 1 that I'm creating in BrightBuilder here, I can now go and right click on the project and I can create those database tables remotely on a connected database. So I punch in my database connection details here. So I say I am running SQL Server 2008. I enter in my SQL authentication details here, hit the OK button. That will now connect to the database and see that I've already got that database table already existing. I'll just check my SQL database here, and that table does already exist. So when that happens, I just hit OK. I say I want to drop those tables that already exist, hit Create again, and now that database tables are created successfully. Jump into SQL again, and I can see that table's there with the fields as I've defined them in BrightBuilder. As of version 7.1.0, we can now cut and copy and paste table columns. So back to my table that I had a minute ago, I can take a column here, field 3, I can now copy, create a new table and paste it. There's been a change to the user configuration in BrightBuilder. We've added an Add User button, and now there's an auto scroll to the new user row. So what that means is, say I've got more users than can fit in a page, and so the scroll bar then appears. Now in this situation there's no way you can right click to be able to add a new user, so that's why we added a new Add New User button. And then when I add the new user, now it automatically scrolls down to that one that I've added. So that's user 14. If I scroll up again, if I add another user, that's now scrolled to be visible. It's just a little interface tweak that we just added to this version. Another new addition is the script endpoint. So we have a new template for web services that's been added. Now the web services infrastructure is something that was been added into Bright Server to be able to handle web services calls coming from any client. This is a very powerful feature, and it's covered in detail in the user manual, but for now I can just say to you that the way that Bright Server handles this is Bright Server is automatically handling the serialization and the deserialization of the web service calls via SOAP, and in the user manual just go into Bright Server Web Services Introduction, and there's a fairly detailed coverage here of the new infrastructure and framework that's available in Bright Server 7.1.0. So in BrightBuilder, all that means is we've just now got in the BEP, we now have the ability in the scripts. When you say a new script, what we've done is we've now added a new web services template selection there. So I go ahead and select that, and I'll add a new script. And so this is what the script now looks like. We've got a handler and some skeleton code there that comes out from that template. On the sync point for a file, we've now added a cache group ID property. So now if I have a BEP file with a script sync point, I select in a file data source, then now we have the cache ID appearing there as a new property, and as the hint there says, the files which are cached in a group should have the same cache group ID. And what this is meant for to handle is basically this gives you now the ability to have multiple groups, multiple files belonging to multiple groups all on the same sync panel, whereas before 7.1.0 you had to have, if you're going to use the cache facility, all of the files in the same sync panel needed to be in the one group. So this just gives you one more level of flexibility. In the expressions, we now show the notes for the object methods in the expression editor. So to demonstrate that, for the form, if I open up the form editor, just create a dummy expression there. And if I just maximize that view, I can maximize the view just by double clicking on the tab there. Then I select an object which has a method with a note on it, like add attachment. Now if I go more info on that, the notes now appear in this message box that never used to appear there before. And if I now go on the help window as well, we've got the notes appearing there as well. That's it for the changes to BrightBuilder. So in Bright Server we've already covered the Web Services Infrastructure Edition, and the next one is Bright Server 7.1.0 now uses Quartz 2.1.5, which is a code library that Bright Server uses for scheduling. That's just been upgraded. And the next edition after that is in Bright Server there is the Bright Web changes now support some of the new BrightForms platform features. So Bright Web is just covering some of the new additions in BrightForms. So these, I'll now go through the BrightForms additions, and Bright Web basically reflects those same changes. So in BrightForms, now the list view has had a few changes to it. The first one is now has the ability to display multiple line records. So to demonstrate that, I have BrightForms here running. We've got a list view, and there you've got maybe a shorter field like a name field followed by a longer field, an address field with many more characters in it. And here we've got a list view with two lines being used to display extra information without the need to horizontally scroll. The way to do that in BrightBuilder, we've just got the list view here. We've now got a couple of new properties. Multi-row enable, so set that to true just to turn the multi-line feature on, and then you just simply define how many lines per row you would like to have. Another change in BrightForms, the database engine has changed, so now the SQL Server and MSDE database types are no longer supported since they are now obsolete. The list view now has a couple of other support items for draggable columns and also support for alternative row coloring. So here in this demonstration you can see a blue color for every alternate row. I've got the selection color there going through there. So that just makes the list view that little bit more readable. And as well, you've got the support for draggable columns as well, so I can click on a column and drag it to reorder them as I go. And the ordering selections of the user are then persisted into that form, so that they'll remember that for the rest of that time. In BrightBuilder, to do this, all we have is the color for the alternate rows new property here. If I click on that, then I've got my click to enable that color, and then I can select 4 different colors: the text color and the background color for the even and the odd lines. And the other new property is the headers drag to reorder property there, which I've ticked on for this demonstration. Finally, in version 7.10 there are some new object and control methods available. So in BrightBuilder we have got in the list view we've got the new method called getColumnValue, which returns the value of the specified column at the specified row. And in the edit control we have got a new method called enable action text change. And what this does is this enables you to turn off the text change events. Normally the text change events are turned on. This is just an extra method that enables you to programmatically turn those off. In the form there's a new method called getGesture. And now with the new tablets, particularly the Android tablet, now we can intercept gestures made by the user, so we can get a gesture constant returned to us from getGesture, which will fire an event, and this event belongs to the form. So I'll go to my form properties, and in the form properties we now have the new gesture action. So this action gesture will be fired whenever the user performs a gesture. Now we have underneath the gesture here a series of north, south, east and west fling gestures, so they can fling up, down, left and right on the screen. In the system object we have got a new OS based exit command, which this will terminate the application when this is called. This needs to be used with a lot of caution because it could lead to some data losses if not used correctly, so use with caution. But that's a new method that's available. And finally, in the array object we've got insert at. So now we can insert objects in at the specified index given as an input parameter to this method. So that is a few new objects and methods available in 7.10. So that concludes this presentation of wrapping up all of the new changes and updates in version 7.10. For more how-to videos and information, check out BrightXpress.com. Also have a look at the Bright Software channel on YouTube.